Hello and welcome to India Sense, a show that gets you all that matters from the world of global politics, economics and technology through the lens of India. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. Let's get started with headlines. Tensions in West Asia continue after Iran vows to retaliate after Israel assassinated the political chief of Hezbollah and the military chief of Hamas. The region remains tense, oil prices spike. How will this impact India, and will this affect New Delhi's fine balancing act in the region? It's the week of biggest monetary policy overload for global investors. Bank of England cut rates. US Fed has announced plans to cut rates from September. Will emerging markets like India be the biggest beneficiary of global capital inflows? Indian equity markets hit record highs as investors look to regions that offer better returns. Is the US receding its geopolitical space and getting consumed with its domestic political cycle? From Palestine to Ukraine, China is now getting into global conflicts as a mediator. What does this mean for the world, and how will this change China's existing conflicts with other nations? India aims to address increasing climate disasters and calamities with a new legislation. The bill envisages separate disaster management authority to be created for state capitals and cities, along with a comprehensive disaster database that will improve response and reduce damage. And India and Vietnam signed 6 MOUs and have adopted an action plan to broad-based cooperation and ensure rules-based Indo-Pacific. Vietnamese Prime Minister was on a bilateral visit to India. New Delhi has also extended a $300 million credit line to Vietnam for enhancing maritime security. The big story this week, the tensions in the Middle East that could possibly flare up. Now, how does this affect India? Just how significant is this region for us? And how big a player is India in the Middle East? And most importantly, will this affect India's fine diplomatic balance? Middle East is the world's most polarized, most bifurcated region. Tensions have been escalating, and it could escalate further between Israel and Iran in recent days after Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh's assassination. Before we go any further, let's listen in to the voices that matter. First, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and then a response from Iranian Speaker of Parliament.
לאחר שחיסלנו שלשום את רמטכ"ל חיזבאללה, מוחסן, היום הגיע העימות הסופי לחיסולו של רמטכ"ל חמאס, מוחמד דף. דף היה אחראי לטבח הנורא של ה-7 באוקטובר, וגם לפיגועים רצחניים רבים נגד אזרחי ישראל. הוא היה מבוקש מספר אחד של ישראל במשך שנים, והחיסול שלו מקבע עיקרון פשוט שקבענו. מי שפוגע בנו, אנחנו פוגעים בו.
דורان بزن و در رو تمام شده. این رو ما در عمل نشان داده ایم. ما حواسمون هست، میدانیم که همه این مسئولیت ها و این حوادث به عهده آمریکای جنایتکار هست. هیچ اتفاقی بدون هماهنگی و بدون حمایت آمریکای جنایتکار اتفاق نمیفته.
Now, in this region, India has been very successful in building bridges with rival countries. Now, historically, Middle East has been a source of oil imports for India. It contributes a large chunk of our foreign remittances, but there's a lot more to this than just that. India now has a very diversified economic exchange with several countries, deep security cooperation with most players, in fact, all of them. First is the diplomatic initiatives it's forged, like the I2U2, Israel-India-US-UAE partnership, and the India-Middle East Europe Economic Corridor. Both provide significant strategic and economic depth to India in this region. Though they are still in their initial stages, they could actually become very significant. I2U2 could become a possible quad for the region. IMEEC, which is the corridor, has the potential to become a major investment vehicle like the Belt and Road, but without its debt trappings. Now add to this the increased economic engagements that India has in the region with UAE, Qatar and several others. Then there are the combined exercises, the air, naval, army exercises with the Emirates, with Oman. Then there are multilateral naval exercises with Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. And what one gets together is a very deep strategic engagement with all players in the Middle East. And the earlier piecemeal approach towards approaching every country with a specific agenda has now been replaced with a much more strategic push. India has also been at the forefront of tackling some of the biggest threats in this region, whether it's the Somalian pirates in the Gulf of Aden or the Houthi rebels that attack commercial shipping lines in the Red Sea. India is not a fringe player in the Middle East. It has successfully navigated the complex geopolitical and geo-religious landscape of this entire region. One where we've displayed our strategic autonomy, we've charted our independent path, we haven't aligned with any particular country, forged deep ties with rival countries, Shia major Iran, and invested heavily in its arch rival, which is Israel, by building and forging defense relationships. But the escalation of the present conflict could affect some of this strategic calculus, like the Chabahar port in Iran, the North-South connectivity project, all of which are very vulnerable to the rise in tensions, which is a likelihood if America comes out in support of Israel. Remember, Iran's cozying up to Pakistan is a message to New Delhi that its cold shoulder to SCO is not going unnoticed. All parties in the Middle East are likely to harden their positions, adopt belligerent postures. And if the present tensions continue, it could impact, as I said, India's fine balancing act, which has allowed New Delhi to not fit into any silos till now. But this could change. Just how much is really the key question. In fact, to talk more on this, we have the first top voice on the show. It's almost a certainty that Iran will retaliate to the assassination of the Hamas military chief and the Hezbollah political chief. It's embarrassing, in fact, for the new Iranian president, Mohammad Pezeshkian, and the supreme leader that it happened at the time of his swearing in when the world was watching. But how significant will the impact be? Could this start a chain reaction for all powers? And is this going to put New Delhi in a bind in terms of affecting its fine balancing act in the region, which it has so successfully navigated? That's exactly what I've asked to the first top voice on the show, Sharon Haskell, who's a member of parliament of Israel. Ms. Haskell, thanks so much for speaking to NDTV. My first question, ma'am, as things stand right now, there is a real possibility that this tension will escalate. What measures is Israel taking to ensure that this remains contained? You don't want a full-blown war, do you?
Well, unfortunately, this is not up to Israel. I mean, you need to understand, for the last 9 months, we were attacked, and we are attacked almost on a daily basis from 5 different fronts. Okay, there's Hamas who's attacking Israel, Hezbollah, the army of Iran from the north, attacking us, the army of Iran in Syria and Iraq is attacking us, the army of Iran in Yemen, the Houthis, is attacking us, and Iran is attacking us directly. So Israel has contained a lot where it shouldn't. People were murdered by that. But when you come and you butcher and massacre 12 children who they only wanted to go and play sport, they were playing soccer in the whole atmosphere of the Olympics. This is something that, we cannot accept. This is a red line that cannot be crossed. And so we have retaliated with the person who is responsible for this attack, this monster who has thousands of innocent people blood on his hand. You need to understand, the person who was targeted, Fouad, in Beirut, he was the chief advisor, military advisor for Hezbollah, for Nasrallah. In 1983, he had a key role in murdering 241 Americans. This is a monster, and this is the person who commanded the massacre of 12 innocent children and babies.
Right. So So I'm not getting into the disproportionate or the proportionate retaliation bit, but the fact is that this is now going to lead Iran to also retaliate. Have you considered, or has Israel considered and evaluated the possibility that we are staring at possibly direct intervention by America, and that could mean escalation of a different kind altogether?
So Iran is attacking Israel since the 7th of October in 5 different fronts. We are ready for war. We are ready to defend our people, our children, and our land. And they should be aware of that. Now, Iran has already attacked directly Israel with hundreds of missiles and drones and ballistic missiles. Okay? Try and imagine if India would have been attacked by hundreds of missiles and drones from Pakistan. How would the Indian government react to that? Now, this is a complete declaration of war by Iran, okay? This is the Iranian war that Israel is managing its front line in the last 9 months. But be certain, this is not Israel's war. This is a war of radical Islam against Western civilization. This is a war of those Islamists, Iran, which is not hiding its goal. They want Islamic dominancy worldwide, and that's why they're setting operations and armies with political influence all around the world. Israel is just the front line of Western civilization, people who love democracy, who yearn for freedom, for liberties, for women's rights, for equality. And that war was started by Iran, and we need to understand that this is the main perpetrator. They are the one directing, managing, funding, and in charge of giving those orders.
Sharon, before I ask you the next question, if Pakistan had attacked India, we would have retaliated in no uncertain measures. We defeated them earlier, we would have defeated them if at all any such thing happened at all. Okay, but I want to ask you about the present conflict and also the fact that in America, both presidential candidates want a ceasefire, they want it immediately. Is Israel running out of time?
Absolutely not. The only people that are going to decide when this war is over is the Israeli people. And it will be when we can live here safely in security and peacefully. We are surrounded by murderous enemies who want for our destruction. And so, we are going to be the one who are going to determine when we were able to reach that point where we can live here safely, where my children can go to school and not be worried of being hit by a missile, being murdered by a terrorist. Now, the two presidential nominees, they both have the support of Israel, and they both understand that Israel has the right to defend itself. Israel has the right to exist. And in that kind of atmosphere, I think that not enough people really understand the close bond and friendship that we share with America. I mean, Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. It's the only one that shares those values of freedom and equality and freedom of the press and freedom of speech and all of that. Women's rights. And so based on those mutual values and understanding how Iran is the biggest, destabilizing force, it's the biggest funder of terrorism here, they understand what's at stake. And so I know that no matter who's going to be elected, they're going to have our back. They are going to support us.
Sharon Haskell, appreciate you speaking to me on India Ascents. As things stand right now, Air India has suspended its flights to Tel Aviv, explaining just how volatile and fluid the situation is and how immediately it could actually spark into something significant. On that note, we slip into a very short break. Lots more on the other side of India Ascents. Stay with us.
After a great victory by Indian team, and today we are reporting from International Airport where we are showing these visuals. Arshdeep हमारे साथ है.
The performance सही सारे दी थे बढ़िया results मिले.
We are in the city of Kanpur today because they have their champion back home, Desperation for each and everyone to go there and win the World Cup, and we did it.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day."
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. #1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust. Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
After a great victory by Indian team, and today we are reporting from Mohali International Airport, where we are showing these visuals. Arshdeep हमारे साथ हैं.
बहुत ही परफॉर्मेंस सही सारे दी थे बढ़िया रिजल्ट्स मिले.
We are in the city of Kanpur today because they have their champion back home, Kuldeep Yadav.
Desperation for each and everyone to go there and win the World Cup, and we did it.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, You can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Get ready for the ride of your life. NDTV brings you the NDTV Auto Show with me, Mugdha Mishra. From the fastest supercars to the sleekest new energy vehicles to your trusted daily ride, we cover it all. Every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. and Sunday at 8:30 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7. Your next great escape starts here.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. #1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust. Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
After a great victory by Indian team, and today we are reporting from Mohali International Airport where we are showing these visuals. Arshdeep हमारे साथ हैं.
बहुत ही परफॉर्मेंस आई सारा दी ते बढ़िया रिजल्ट्स मिले.
We are in the city of Kanpur today because they have their champion back home, Kuldeep Yadav.
Desperation for each and everyone to go there and win the World Cup, and we did it.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day.
Get ready for the ride of your life. NDTV brings you
The rules-based order, and what happens to conflicts where itself where China itself is a party, like all its maritime neighbors in the Indo-Pacific. How does the world wrap around these questions and China as a possible mediator? On to Tech Tracker this week. Why is Bitcoin suddenly racing? Why does the future of the cryptocurrency depend on the political leanings and not about its fungibility? In fact, cryptocurrency is now completely wrapped around which way American politics will go from here, and that has financial implications for the world markets and global investors. Take a look at this report that tells you why politics will determine Bitcoin's present and future. All right, those on the left feel that Bitcoin needs to be regulated. Those on the right feel that this is something that is symptomatic of American enterprise. In fact, biggest Silicon Valley names like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel support Donald Trump because they support cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the technological and political expression of what they believe in. It is backed by blockchain technology, which has everything to do with the tech innovation coming out of the West Coast and not from the Securities Exchange Commission.